Alright, hello YouTube. This is going to be the day 3 update on the Subaru Brz rebuild for scaleworld.net. What you guys have in front of me, here's the body. It's in a little storage container. I said tray. Brake, I get this at Walmart and I buy it by the gallon, the big thing like this. It's just a brake fluid, .3 brake fluid. I get me a container with the lid because it's a mess. You don't want it everywhere. I use a 3M red Scotch Brite and I use a toothbrush. And what I do is, this is for plastic parts only, is I fill it up. I put this in here yesterday after I did the strip down video, and I just use a piece of red Scotch Brite and a regular cheap toothbrush. The brake fluid will eat the toothbrush, so try to use some of this plastic style toothbrush. The clear toothbrushes, the cheap clear toothbrushes from like the dollar store and whatnot, those will decay over time and get real brittle and break. But what I do is I just put enough in there to submerge the body, and I let it soak. Depending upon the coverage of the paint or what paint you use, it might stay in there for a day or two. But being that Pete don't use a real aggressive paint, it came out pretty quick. I usually scrub it. Let it sit in there for about 3 hours. Then I go in there and try to break each layer off at a time, but it kept coming out pretty darn good. So I just kept scraping it. You leave it a couple hours, scraped it. Well, not scrape it, but I use my red 3M pad, scrape it up like that. And this right here is just residue sitting on there. All your paint should come off. Not all your primer will always come off. I'll get that there cleaned up here in a few minutes, and we'll do another update. Here's how I hand stripped the resin. And once I hand strip the resin, I clean the resin. And this is how I also prep the resin before it goes into primer or paint. I like to use this Wesley's bleach white on all my resin. And sometimes just to hand clean some stuff, I go and use this Awesome. I don't let the product soak in the Awesome. I just use it to clean it, use it like an oil degreaser for the resin. But I don't let it soak in it. You can see I have the resin part soaking in the Weasley's white wall cleaner, and then you can just open. I didn't strip the seats like I stripped the parts. You can see the parts back to their original, white. I'm going to go up there, and this right here helps mold release, and it helps any of the active ingredients in the paint come back out. I wasn't cared about in the back side, fellas, but the front sides I stripped all the way down, redid some stuff. So here I'm going to pause the video, take a little bit of time to clean all this up, and I will be back in a little bit. I just wanted to show you guys this step before I went further, and I'll be back in a little. Alright guys, after a quick cleanup, here's what we have in front of you. Now mind you, this, I was lucky that the product Pete used is not as aggressive as some other stuff. So I got here's the clean resin parts. This is after they've been stripped and morsed and whatnot. And you can see I bring it all pretty much back to the raw finish. Now here is, see if I can get this. Now here is the rear deflector fuser. See if I don't lose that. I re-drilled the holes, added 2 more holes to the bottom of it just to give it more of what I thought would be a pretty cool mounting point. That's the rear diffuser. Here's one of the side fenders. I drilled all the holes back out in it. And this notch here, if you guys can see how far up it's lifted. Now that the body's completely clean, I'll be able to go in there and see how much of that I actually have to sand off to get even with the body. Same with this other outer fender extension. I added in a few more holes just to give me the look I wanted to for a mounting thing. And then it too also has the lifted triangle area here, so we'll have to get that done. The front fender, let's see if I can't get that. I re-drilled it and I added a few more holes to it too, to give me what I thought would be a better mounting point. The reason why the holes look so big is because the products I use will fill some of that in. So like when I cut my door jambs and trunks open on models that I have everything opens up on, I usually make a bigger gap. But then by the time I do my primers and my colors and then my clear coat, I use Raw Automotive products, so I get a thicker, I get a thicker build up than some other ones. So I made my holes just slightly bigger. The rear fin, I didn't like the way it looked just laying on there, so I re-drilled some holes like it will be bolted on in the back, but maybe like 3M'd, or maybe a poly, what did they call it, like the polyurethane adhesive that they put windshields in. Front bumper, I cleaned it all up, reshaped what Pete had radiused, opened up the bumper holes a little bit, opened up the bumper holes some more. Come on. Hope I'm not making you guys dizzy. Camera's on the fritz today. And just did that, cleaned that all up. Side skirt, cleaned it all up. Add in the holes. I'll fix all these little chip marks when I start to do the actual body work. The other side skirt. Right there. Alright, now here's the firewall. Dang near came back to pure plastic. This is all glue damage. I'll have to repair that so I can get the proper fitment. The engine compartment type thing, all this is little stuff where my brush or my 3M pad wouldn't fit, so we'll have to go back in there and do some hand cleaning on it. Broke the sway bar, but I tried to refrain from removing it, and because you can see how it's glued in there pretty decent, but I broke it, so I'll have to clean that up and remake one. Now the chassis, just because of all the concaves and everything in it, a lot of this stuff I'll hand clean up with a toothpick, or I have this small edge, and what I'll do, just go in there and it will just slowly, lift some of this stuff up. It's not too harsh. I don't have a real sharp edge on it. It's just enough to get in there and clean it up. And the underside, probably that right there, probably just all be black anyway. Now here's why I strip my vehicles before I do the repair, because you guys seen how I got it from the start, and we knew there was going to be some glue damage. But I see some people try to just like if they paint it and it went bad or something, they go back in there and try to repair it. They just try to repair it and the paint is still on. So if I was just trying to fix this fenders, I'd have all this door damage, and little stuff like this. So that's why I always try to strip my body first before I tackle any of the body work. So And this is the body after it's been stripped. All these little heavy areas where the paint stayed in there, again, I'll go back to using my tool or my toothpicks, and I'll get all that cleaned up. It'll get in there. It'll get all the jams. Scale the scale modeling channel, he showed a tutorial about taking these automatic pencils and putting a straight pin in there, and I've been using it for years. It works great. I just get in there and I'll just make me some circles like this, and it will clean all that old paint off. And this is what I do to all my door. I'll use it on all the door seams, all this window trim here, and it will just lift all that out of there. And the same time as I'm cleaning it up, I'm also rescribing, making my door lines longer, so that way I can my paint don't build up and, you know, fade them away. So there's still a lot of work to do ahead. I just wanted to show you guys you know, the benefits of stripping before you do your repairs, because that way you could be able to see all this damage on this door, you know, all this glue damage here. And before, if you just start sanding, what happens is you think you got all that gone, and then when you go to paint, the new paint melts the old paint, and then you get all the bodywork showing up. But just a quick overview. Now that everything's sanded down and dried and everything, you'll be able to, you know, see a better fitment of the parts that, you know, we're working with, and I'll be able to see, you know, where everything's supposed to lie and what's entailed for the work ahead. I could tell right now, you know, there's some pretty good areas here on this one fender here with gaps and stuff that's going to need to be, see if I can't get that in there. It's going to need to be sanded down and whatnot, but it's all stuff that we're going to work with once I get everything, come on, once everything's sanded and fitted right, we'll be able to get a true fitment for everything. But that's many. This is day 3. And we'll just got to get all that cleaned up. We'll get all that. And just want to have a shout out to you guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I probably won't return until Tuesday. Got to leave for work here in a few. And I won't be back home until Tuesday. And then I got a doctor's appointment Tuesday. So it'll be sometime Tuesday afternoon, guys, for day 4 of working on the scaleworld.net Subaru Brz. Thank you.